Are you gambling or are you investing? The reason I'm bringing this up is I had a recent prospective client come into the office, up in our Petoskey office. And he started our meeting off by saying that he feels like he's just gambling in the stock market. And it couldn't help but get me thinking, you know, there are quite a bit of similarities between gambling and investing, right? You know, you're putting your money to work for you, and you're taking on some sort of risk, and there's uncertainty involved in the result, you know, with that money. Okay, but you know, the more you think about gambling versus investing, there's some huge differences there, okay? And that's what I want to talk about today. So gambling, okay, we all know this probably pretty well, right? You go to the casino, you pull down, and you're hoping you're going to get some money, right? You sit at the poker table, you're making your bets. Maybe it's online, you know, sports betting or something like that. You know, you're doing that primarily for entertainment. Okay. Yes, there's a huge risk there, and there's also a potential for a great reward. Okay, but you could also lose it all. Okay. Now, investing on the other side of things, that is more about long-term growth. Okay. It takes patience. You're not trying to get rich quick over the weekend. It's something where when you're investing, you want to solidify a plan for the long term, okay? So going back to this gentleman that brought up gambling versus investing, the main reason that I feel that he thought his investing was like gambling is because he didn't have a plan in place, okay? He didn't know what he was trying to accomplish, what he was doing with his money in the stock market, okay? And so what I did is I helped him develop an investment plan, okay? And there's, you know, everybody's investment plan is going to be very different, okay? And here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we customize your investment plan based on how much risk you're willing to take, okay? And for this gentleman, he was more of a moderate conservative investor. He didn't want to take on a ton of risk. He was okay with sacrificing some of those high rewards for the safety. Okay, and one of the things I like to do when we're talking about diversifying investments and setting up that investment plan is going over the old bucket approach, okay? And basically it's separating your money into 3 different buckets of money. You have the no market risk bucket, which is money that can't go backwards, can't lose, but gets you a specific rate of return, okay? Now with that bucket, you're giving up the higher potential that you could get with the stock market returns. And then for him, we also use the conservative bucket and then a growth bucket. And basically what we did is we divvied up his portfolio and we put 1/3 of his money in that no market risk bucket, 1/3 of his money in the conservative bucket, and then 1/3 of his money in the growth bucket. Okay. Now within that no market risk bucket, he used different annuity products that guaranteed that he wouldn't lose any money and would spit out a specific rate of return, and also allowed him to track the market in a sense and paid a cap rate. So it provided downside protection so he wouldn't lose his money, and also the ability to get a great rate of return and participate in the market. And then the conservative and growth piece, he understood now that, hey, 1/3 of his money is more conservative, so yes, it's going to go up and down, but it's not going to fluctuate as much as the growth bucket. And that 1/3 in the growth bucket, he views now is long-term money. He knows that, yeah, that growth money is going to fluctuate and go up and down a lot. But over time, 10, 15 years from now, hopefully, if the market cooperates, that growth bucket is going to show some great returns. So now this gentleman, he understands he's no longer gambling, right? He has a plan. He's not going and trying to trade based on headlines in the news or based on what a friend says because, hey, this is the new hot stock. He's got an investment plan. And that's something where if you feel like you're gambling in the stock market right now, you shouldn't, okay? You need a plan. That will help you feel like you're investing once again. So if you have questions on that, don't hesitate. Schedule a free, no obligation consultation. We'll be happy to go over your investment plan with you and help you plan to retire well.